Most people think building a website is very difficult and requires you to spend a lot of money, and also you need to learn how to code in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and also understand PHP and so many backend technologies. In today's video, I want to show you how you can build a website without writing a single line of code. We'll be using WordPress for this tutorial, and I have been designing websites for the past 10 years. I freelance both on Fiverr and also offline. So this video, I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process of how you can build a website for your professional portfolios or an e-commerce site, or you want to build just a normal blog. This video is going to show you how to just do that, right? So let me take us through what we are going to cover in this particular video. So some of the things that we're going to cover are understanding what a domain is, and basically understanding what a web hosting is, and also how to get all of this. And I'll be showing you how to install WordPress, and you're going to design your first website and also publish your first page in this video. So, well, before we begin, you need to understand a few things, right? The first thing is understanding what a domain is. A domain, as simple as the name sounds, is basically the web address. So what is a web address? The www that you search on the internet is basically a domain, and also called a web address. So an address can be for Google, google.com. We have the one for Amazon, which is amazon.com. So when you type all these things are attached to a particular IP address, right? You don't need to know much about all of these heavy technologies, right? But understanding what a domain is. A domain basically is just that www.examplewebsites.com that you search on the internet. Example, we just talked about Google and we just talked about Amazon, right? So if you understand this, that's basically what you need to know. Okay, so the next thing is to understand what a hosting is. Hosting is basically where your website is being stored, right? So your documents on the site, like your images, your video content, your write-ups, just like the written content, if you have a blog, right? So all of those things, imagine it is being stored somewhere, right? So where it is being stored is called the hosting. So just like you host somebody in your house, you host him, he has a place to sit down. That is as simple as it gets, right? Or you have a memory card, right? So on your memory card, you store music files, you store images, you store Microsoft Word documents, Excel documents, whatever kind of document that you store on that memory card. So take that memory card as your internet hosting. We have companies that offer all of these services, right? Both the domain and then the hosting, right? So because those are the major things that you need, but it comes at a cost, right? So different companies, different costs, and the kind of project that you want to build is going to determine the kind of services that you'll be needing from those hosting companies, which affect the pricing that you're going to be charged, right, while purchasing those hosting services. So we have companies like Hostinger, right, that provide hosting services. We have companies like Bluehost. We have the official Pressable by Automatic, right, and we have others like GoDaddy, InMotion, and so many others. So, but in my own case, I use Hostinger to host my own website, right? So, and I'm going to use Hostinger for this tutorial to show you how all of this will be done. So let's get into the video, and I'm going to show you practically how we're going to how you can get a domain, how you can purchase hosting, what type of hosting that you need to purchase, and also how to actually install WordPress, right? And you start building your site. As simple as that gets. Let's get into that, and you get your website up and running. Now, this is how it looks when you are on your Hostinger backend panel, right? So you can see we have different website being hosted here. You can see this particular project for a client, right? I worked for, right? So if you want to purchase hosting with the Hostinger hosting, right? So depending on the hosting that you choose that you want to actually use, so everything you just based on your preference, right? So if it is Hostinger, basically what you do is simply I'll be leaving a link below, right? So if you want to purchase, you can simply purchase the Hostinger hosting services, or you want to use Bluehost, right? So the reason why I recommend using either of these two hosting companies is because it is the officially promoted hosting services by the WordPress community. So if I come here to wordpress.org, you see that both Hostinger and Bluehost are recommended by the WordPress community, right? So you can see here we have Pressable, which is the first one, and it is the official hosting company by Automatic, right? And you can see Bluehost, which is the second most popular hosting services for WordPress websites, and also we have Hostinger. So that is the main reason why I use this particular hosting companies, right? So if I recommend to anybody or my clients that I work with, I tell them, okay, look, if you don't have hosting, these are the hostings that I recommend, and this is the one I use. The reason is because it is being recommended by the WordPress community themselves. So that is why I use these people here, right? So, but when it comes to cost, right, you need to now look at your pocket and then see what you can afford, right? And actually depending on the kind of project that you're working on. If it's just a simple portfolio site that you want to build, I will recommend you go with either of the two, right? You can go with either of the two, right? So either of the two is okay to go with, right? But I think Hostinger have a payment duration, right? That when you make payments, you'll be able to use Hostinger for 4 years, right? And in terms of cost, it is fairly cheaper than the Bluehost hosting, right? But Bluehost is for robust companies, right? So if you are building an e-commerce site, I will highly recommend you get Bluehost hosting, right? So, but for Hostinger, if you want to build a blog site, if you want to build your normal portfolio website, or I don't know, but that is just basically my own take, right? But if it comes to why I use them, it is because it is recommended by the hosting, by the WordPress community, right? So, and you can see it here. This is what is obtainable. Okay, so to purchase, basically, I said I'm going to leave a link below in the description. You can just simply select between the two. Either you choose Hostinger or you choose Bluehost. Any of the two, it's fine. You can basically use for this particular process. If you want me, I can even do a dedicated video purchasing hosting from Bluehost, right? Showing you how you can actually do that, right? So, but for this tutorial, I told you I'm using Hostinger. So if you want to purchase this thing, you just click on the link in the description, and it's going to take you to the page that you can make payment, right? So if you come here to their pricing services, you can see that we have starting with the single website. So if you're just starting out and you want to try, basically you can basically try. You just simply pay, maybe on a monthly basis, you just pay 1,900 naira to actually start. So, but if you're confident enough and then you want to take your business to the next level, right, you can simply select the premium, or you go for the business, right? I actually highly recommend that you start with the business, right? So the business plan have AI features, right? So if you see here below, we have AI agent for WordPress. So which is something that you don't want to neglect, right? Because of the evolution of AI, and AI is taking over a lot of stuff, right? So, and you want to integrate AI into your own systems. And you can see here that with the business plan, you even have an e-commerce feature that you can actually use, right? You have AI agent for WordPress, and you can even create ready-to-go WordPress website in minutes with their AI systems. I have a dedicated website video that I'm going to upload soon. Actually, you can watch that video on how you can use Hostinger AI to build your own website very, very fast, in less than 5 to 10 minutes, you can get a website running with the Hostinger AI. Okay, so you can, if you have a lot of budget, I would recommend you go with the 48 months, right? So 48 months, that's like 4 years, right? That's 4 years, and you have a lot of time. You don't need to stress yourself, and you just get everything going, right? So when you purchase either of these hostings for the very first time, you get a free domain, right? You get a free domain to actually search for, right? So, and I talked about getting the domain, that there are some things that you need to look out for, right? So when it comes to domain, you need to look out for 3 important factors, right? First, you need to make sure that the domain is easily recognizable, right? That means, what I mean here is, you should make sure that the domain that you are selecting for your business, right, is something that somebody can easily recall. And you should avoid using numbers, asterisks, and you should not make your domain to be so long, right? Domains should be very, very like just short, brief, and explainable, right? So that's basically that about domains, right? And now when you purchase either of these services, installing WordPress becomes much more easier. It is very, very simple. So let's just see how we can do that with one of these services right here. Let me go to the domains part, or I come to the website. Let me get a simple website to just simply add, right? I'm going to now click on add website, right? So I want to add a website to this particular plan, and I'm going to click on add website, and it's a WordPress website, right? So it's a WordPress website. I'm going to click on this WordPress here. So, but when you are coming for the very first time, what you are going to see will be a little bit different, right? So you won't see something like just the dashboard the way it's showing like that, right? So you can see, you say you have a free domain available, so start typing to use it, right? So, but I don't want to use the free domain now. But basically you've heard all of the process, right? So you are going to get all of these things when you purchase for the very first time. So even when I made purchase of this hosting, I didn't get to use the free domain that was given for to me, but you see now they want me to claim it, but I don't want to claim it right now. So I just want to create a temporal WordPress website, right? So I want to use a temporal domain by the Hostinger community, so they can give you a temporal domain that you can actually use to install WordPress. I'm going to click on use temporal domain, but in your case you can search your domain and then use your domain, right? So you can see they've given me a login detail that I can use for this. So if you want to build, you can build from scratch, or you can use their AI system, right? So, but for this video, we are building from scratch. We are using the WordPress feature to build this website. I'm going to click on build from scratch, and you can see it is as simple as it is. In minutes, it is automatically installing WordPress for me. So you don't have to stress yourself much. They have their one-click WordPress install. No hassle. You allow the system do whatever it is going to do, right? So just like in the way we are doing in Hostinger now, Bluehost also give you this particular feature, right? And we're going to test this in another video, right? So another video, I'm going to show you how you use Bluehost to buy domain and also host your website, right? So let's just wait for this to install on this temporal domain. For your own case, remember, you are going to get the domain, right? You are going to get that free domain because you purchased hosting with them, and everything is just wrapping up now. So let's allow the system to get everything done, and then we continue with the process. So the process is complete. You can see ready to go. It's time to build your online success. So we are going to the onboarding section where we will start designing our website. So, but before we design our website, there are a few things that you need to understand, right? So coming from the professional angle, right? Designing a website can be a bit tricky, right? That is where you need a professional to come in. So your website now, you know, on WordPress, there are 2 features that you need to look out for, right? Before you even start getting everything done, right? Understanding the themes and then plugin. So what basically is a theme? A theme is a pre-made website layout, or you call it a website design. So when you are using WordPress to design your website, WordPress actually has themes and they have plugins, right? So themes are basically those pre-made designs for you. When you are selecting a theme, you need to look out for 3 very, very important features, which is clean layout, right? And you need to look out for readable typographies, right? So those tags that you see on your site, there are some that are just for fancy, right? Some people just build some themes. The text that they use, those are called typographies. They're not readable. So you need to look out for themes that have readable typographies, and the layout should have enough breathing space. It shouldn't be so choked up. And last thing, it should be mobile responsive. What we mean by mobile responsive is simply somebody should be able to access your website on a mobile phone. It is very, very important. Reason is because after building your website or putting your business out there, putting your portfolio site out there, a very, very important part of having a website is SEO. So, which is search engine optimization. Search engines need to pick up your site and then you get organic traffic. So you shouldn't get so excited by the designs and how the animations look. Animations tend to make websites to become slower, right? So when you want to pick a site, clean designs, mobile responsive, and readable typographies. Make sure you put this at the back of your mind, right? So, and plugins, basically plugins are kind of programs, right? Right. I'll just use programs because plugins are coded features that helps the themes to get more robust functionalities. Basically, plugins like Elementor, right? We can use Elementor to do drag and drop on the on your website. So basically, that's what plugins do for the themes. So you have a theme and then you use a plugin, you plug it in, customize the way you like, right? So basically, a plugin helps you to do more customization on the theme. As simple as that gets. Now, what we need to do next is to put up those essential pages, right? So essential pages are basically the home page, the about page, the contact us page, and you can have a blog section, right? So the reasons why we need all of this, pages, these are like the foundational pages, right? Your home, about, contact, and then your blog, right? So if you are a business, let's assume you just have, or let's just take a portfolio, right? A portfolio site, you've just built your portfolio and then you've put the home page is basically the front page that somebody comes, sees what you do, you're a professional, whatever, people sees and then they understand what you can do, right? But now you need to now put an about yourself. The person that comes to your site, that means the visitor needs to know who is this person, right? What is your story, how you offer your services, and how can I reach out to you, right? The other handles that you have, like your Facebook, your Instagram page, your Twitter handle, your LinkedIn handles, and everything goes into the About Us section, right? And your contacts, how can somebody reach out to you? You have a place where somebody puts his name, puts his email address, right? And they write a message and then send to you, right? So that is why the contact us page is very important. And the blog section, what it helps to do is it helps to put place that you are a professional. Basically, what I mean here is you need to talk more about things that you can do, just like the way I'm doing with this content, right? You will be writing articles, right? Writing articles, content, talking about your field, right? If you are a professional in maybe graphic design, and then you have a portfolio site about your graphic skills, right? Maybe you use AI to do graphics, or use Canva, use Photoshop, use Adobe Illustrator. All of those things being listed in the homepage. Now, in the blog page, what you need to talk about are tips about graphics, why businesses need branding, and so many other things, right? So that is what blogging actually, the blogging page actually does for you, right? So basically, we are now on on our WordPress dashboard here, which is the first stage, right? So if you basically just go through and then see on the dashboard here, this is the home dashboard, right? And what this actually does for you, it just give you some little information about, you can see all of these are called widgets, right? So all these are called widgets, and you can move them around, right? So you can see, you can move them around. You can see this is showing the site health status, at a glance information, right, about your site. The first published post, we can see them here, right? And there's a comment, right? And also activities. Maybe these activities are basically from the WordPress community, right? So, and also the recently just finished WordCamp, right? Which is, WordCamp is basically events being held by the WordPress community from different parts of the world, right? So the recent one was held in Europe, right? And you can see this is showing what happened at WordCamp Europe 2026. So this is where news and events is being displayed, right, on this particular widget. And you can also customize the way you want, right? So you can see I just took this quick draft down by simply bringing this to the top. You can collapse, right, just basically by clicking this rectangle, sorry, the triangle, right? And you can see we just simply drag and we edit, customize the way you like. This is basically for just widgets, right? So you can even turn off the ones that you want and the ones that you don't want to see, right? And these are for posts. So any post that you click, if I click here, any post that you add up here, right? If I want to add up any post, it goes to the blog section, right? And this is for media. You can basically upload your images, your videos, your PDF guides, all can be uploaded here, right? So let's just make a test. If I want to upload a video, an image, let me just search for an image here. Okay, this is an image, right, for one of my client's projects. I just upload it here. You can see it is uploading, and it's going to upload to the media library. And we have pages, right? So we want to now create our first page, right? So we can add up page by simply clicking at the top here, which says add page. I'm going to click on add page, and it will give us where we can add up pages. So first page that we want to now add, right? So let me cancel this. We are not using this. Let me go back, leave. Right, I want to click on the add page again, and then we are going to give our page a name. So these are templates, right? I don't want to choose any pattern because I don't want to use the Gutenberg editor. So I'm going to now cancel this and give the page a name, which is the home. We have the home page. I'm going to publish this page, then I'll click on publish again. So when this is done, right, we can now continue with the rest, right? So basically, just the way you just see me do, I've just added up the home page, right? If I now go back, I'll now click here to go back. You can see we have the home page here. So I want you now to continue with the process. Create the About Us page, create your contact page, and then you create the blog page. So now there's one setting again that you need to do, which is selecting a theme, right? So we are going to select a theme by simply coming to the appearance and then go to the themes, right? So we'll come to the theme and then we'll just select a theme. You can see we have actively, by default, WordPress has already added up a theme for 2025, right? So, but we don't want to use all of these themes, right? So I want to clean this up. I'm going to click on details and I'll delete this. And I'll do that for this other one also. And next is to add up a theme, right? I can just look for a very nice theme, and we are going to use a very, very nice theme, right? So let me search for portfolio. And then we'll see very nice themes that can be used for portfolio. So you can see we have a lot of themes, free themes that we can use as our portfolio website design, right? So let's just portfolio. This is for a product designer. Let me get this. Let's see how it looks, right? So remember, very clean design, nice and readable typographies, and it should be mobile responsive. Very, very important. Don't forget that, right? So you can see here, okay, right? So these are the services that this person offers. The design have a very good breathing space, right? And it is nice. The typographies are readable and it is legible. Like, that means it is wide enough, it is big enough, like you can see very perfectly, right? So this theme is nice. So we can go with this by simply clicking on the install. You can see this is the name of the theme in case if something that you need, right? So you can see block skits portfolio, right? So we've just clicked on install, and the next thing I want to do is to activate. So when we activate this, if we visit the storefront, you are going to see how this looks, right? So it is going to show just like that. So if I come here and then visit this site by clicking to open a new page, you see that the theme, it is basically what is showing, right? So scroll down and then you see, then you start customization by simply clicking on edit site, right? So after doing this, next things is to create if you need a plugin, basically this is where you come to install a plugin, right? So what we need to do some settings, right? So what we need to do is to come to this settings here, and then we'll go to reading, right? So what we want to do here is to give our site a direction, right? So basically we want to tell our site that it has a home page and has a blog section. So this is how we can do that by simply, you can see it is defaultly set on your latest post. So which means that whatever post that, even if somebody wants to visit your site, if the site is being shown as a blog, right? So which is not what we want to do. We want to show the static page and also the blog page, right? Which is very important. So what you want to do next is to click on this static page section, and then you select the home page, right? So we have the home, right? And then the post page is going to show the blog, right? So we can actually do that by simply after you've added up that blog page, you come here and then you select, and it's going to show the post page as the blog page, right? So that is an assignment for you. You create the remaining pages and then we'll continue with the remaining things, right? Basically that's how you build your first website, right? This is how you add up your pages and everything that you need to do about getting a website in these very simple steps. So we've covered what domains are and what hosting is and what I recommend in terms of you selecting your domain. And we've just installed WordPress, and you've seen how simple it is to install WordPress, and also you've understood what themes are, what plugins are, and also you've gotten to understand how to set up a page, how to install a theme, setting up the pages to show your static page, and also how to show your posts, right? So these are the fundamental parts when it comes to designing your website, and you can see how simple it is. Very, very simple, right? So if you're enjoying this video and you want to watch more of this in the future, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And also, if you have any video in your mind that you would like me to create, maybe you want me to build an e-commerce site, whatever kind of site that you want me to build for you, you can ask that in the comment section, and I will do well to create that site for you step by step from the beginning to the end. Until I see you next time, Ahmed Zaid. I'll be seeing you guys in my next video.